Zippy. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Jennings in Florida. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. I want to show you the view out the window here. Look at this. You can actually see out the window. Isn't that an awesome view? Zeffy's enjoying it, as you can see. There is actually a fountain over there. So, but that's our view. And the sun is, I don't know if you can quite see it, but the sun is actually trying to come up through the clouds there by the palm tree. So I hope you've all had a super fantastic sparkling day. We have had a very restful day, which is typical after a day of travel, especially a long day of travel where it's been like 4 hours. I tend to zonk out the next day, which is why I have a minimum 2-night stay, that I have imposed upon myself. So I have a day to recover, catch up on any work that needs to be done. So work stuff doesn't get done till like the afternoon. The morning is more for relaxation and taking the dog for a walk. And I've got messy hair everywhere. I desperately need a haircut. So what's been happening today? All right, so how did your challenges go? Zeffy is anxious for her walk. She knows she's getting to go for a WALK shortly. It's okay, sweetie girl. You want to say hello? You say hello to everybody? No? Okay. So how did your challenge go today? It was remember, it was all about inspiration. So for your mindset, who has an inspiring life? Who has inspired you to do things within your own life? Your business was, who has inspired you business-wise about getting out there and going for things? And the fun thing was to watch a bio, listen to a bio, or read a bio about something inspiring. So how did your day of inspiration go? Did you find all of that? If you look on my Facebook page, I posted a quote by Florence Nightingale, and she was a huge influence to me a huge inspiration to me when I was a kid. Back in primary school, we used to have to do speeches. And normally they had to be like 5 minutes in length, I think they were. I can't remember. And we usually did 2 to 3 a year, and we had to choose different people different people that inspired us, and so or different people in history. And my two go-to people was Guy Fawkes and Florence Nightingale. Guy Fawkes, the story just intrigued me about this guy that wanted to blow up Parliament back in the 1600s. It was just sort of like, why? It just his story just fascinated me for some reason. I was enthralled on that. So it was either Guy Fawkes or Florence Nightingale, and Florence Nightingale inspired me because she was a nurse. She was one of the first. She introduced a lot of stuff that the nurses now have these days, as far as separating patients via their illnesses, the hygiene stuff. She started all of that, inspired all of that. She started making doctors wash hands, even if they weren't using soap. She was just such a huge inspiration. And my mum was a nurse for many years. And so I had that connection. I actually had a dream as a kid to be a nurse when I was older. Then thanks to a dentist when I was 16, I developed a phobia for needles. So that dream went out the window. But I got to be a nurse of types with Brad during his cancer. And whenever we were in the hospitals and stuff, especially his first hospital stay, I basically looked after him. I was changing his dressings, I was emptying the drains, I was giving him bed baths, I was changing his sheets, changing his gown, getting him up and walking and exercising. The only thing that the nurses had to do was come in, record all the numbers of everything that I put on the board. There's a whiteboard in the room, and I kept all the numbers on there, all the outputs and everything. And they'll check on that, give him medications and change his IV, and just do a general checkup to see how it was going. I even had my own stash of medical supplies that they kept me supplied with. And I did all of the stuff with his ileostomy as well. So they wanted to hire me. In fact, one of the head nurses was like adamant that she wanted me to be her personal assistant, and she would personally train me, put me through the program and everything else, and I would work solely for her. And I was like, yeah, no, this was my one and only patient. So so that was as close as I got to being a nurse. Was taking care of Brad, and I enjoy. I did enjoy the caregiving side of it, the nursing side of it. But I don't think I could do it with other people. No, but Florence Nightingale was a huge influence when I was younger, and I did a lot of presentations on her and Guy Fawkes. So those were my two people. Guy Fawkes just fascinated. His story just fascinated me. I couldn't understand why we were celebrating. in November the 5th every year in New Zealand we have Guy Fawkes Night, and they do it the same in England as well, because he wanted to blow up Parliament, and the gunpowder plot. If you go Google the gunpowder plot, you'll just read the whole story about that, how they had all this gunpowder stashed under Parliament buildings. They were going to blow it up when the King came in to do the opening of Parliament. And I believe still to this day they do a walk through the basements of Parliament before any opening. I believe they still do that. So, it just fascinated me, why all these years later we were celebrating this Guy Fawkes, with all of this stuff, wanting to blow up things in Parliament and all this sort of thing. So it was a kind of a fascinating story. But so that and Florence Nightingale. So those were my big influences when I was a kid, and I always used to do my presentations on one of those two. So that was my inspirational stuff today, reminding myself about that. I got the windshield clean, as you saw, because you can now see out the windshield. It's not the greatest job. But people were telling me that you get like Shout stain remover or something, and you just spray it on the window. Some people say you spray it on the window on the paint, and you just let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you can just hose it all off. Others say you mix so many parts water with so much parts Shout. And I thought, well, I have no Shout, so that's out the window. Somebody said dryer sheets. I don't use dryer sheets. Somebody said, well, fabric softener. Don't use fabric softener. And so I started going through my cupboard to see what I had, and I have very limited cleaning supplies. And I found my go-to for just about anything, if I'm in a bind and I need to clean something, it's my stain remover, it's my Clean All Everything, and that's my bottle of Amway's LOC. I pulled that out, put some into a bucket of water, got my big long squeegee out with a great big long handle so I could stand on the ground down there somewhere, and got that, and it did a pretty good job. I just went up there, and there's a couple of places. I mean, you can see where I did you can see my squeegee marks, because trying to squeegee this windscreen is difficult because it curves. It's got this big curve on it. So, but it did a really good job, and I was done in like 15 minutes. Had both the windscreen done, Zeffie's side's clear, my side's clear, and somebody said, well, Zeffie's side's the one that matters, and I'm like, gee, thanks, I'm the one that's driving. So got both windscreens cleared, and I'll get the when I get to a place where I'm going to stop for any length of time, I'll get a detailer to come in and wash the whole vehicle and do all of that. But until then, that'll work. Because I didn't have to rinse it off or anything. It's just squeegee it off and you're good to go. So that was like 15 minutes, it was done. And I was like, why was everybody complaining about this, how long it takes them and all this sort of stuff? So that was kind of interesting. So got that done. We took a nice big long walk this morning. We walked all the way around the lake, went over to the dog park. Zeffie had a good run around there this morning by herself. Me chasing her with her favorite thing is to pick up a stick and then bring it over to me, and at the last second divert off and take off with it. Like, come catch me. And so we played a bit of chase in the dog park this morning. So she had a really good run and came back and basically slept the day. We took some naps today. We always do on non-travel days. Definitely take at least 2. Got to have at least 2 on a non-travel day when you're between travel. And then I created some StikUps for all to do with genealogy. You're a genealogist if, or what was the other one? What was it? You're a genealogist if. Yeah. So you're a genealogist if, and then I had found all of these different sayings and stuff. So I created memes out of them, and created my sheet of the 3x3 StikUps. If you can't remember the StikUps, they're these things that are up here that are canvas prints that stick to any flat surface, and you just peel and stick, and you can reuse them over and over again. You can use them for labels on water bottles. You can use them, I've seen people put them on wine bottles. I've seen them used in all sorts of different ways, on luggage, on laptops, on mirrors, and those are the 3x3s. You get 16 to a sheet of the 3x3s. On the 6x6s you get 4 to a sheet, and then there's a 1 sheet, and then there's a 1 12x12 on a sheet by itself. So I have a 12x12 coming with a really cool quote about RVing, and it's got a photograph on it that I took at one of the campgrounds, which was a view out of the front window, kind of similar to this type of a view out the back here. Hang on. Kind of similar to this type of view, but it was a bigger lake, and you could see the RVs off in the distance, and something about I'd rather wake up here in my RV than any city in the world, or something like that on there. So that's going to go on on my door. I'm going to put that one on the door, on the window of the door. so people will see it as they walk past and that sort of thing. So yes, that was kind of cool. And so I got that done, and we're about to head out for another walk. So if you hear any whining, it's Zeffie saying, come on, hurry up and get out of there. And as promised, we have to announce our winner for this evening. So we had a picture of Zeffie zonked out on the floor in front of her food bowl and her water bowl. And I have to mention this. Her food bowl had fresh food in it, and her water bowl had fresh water in it. And she was just laid out on it. If you want to see the picture, there's one on my profile, one on my Facebook page, and one on Zeffie's Great Adventures. And the competition was to caption the photograph, and the one with the most likes, loves, laughs, hugs, and wows would be the winner. So the winner, so I have to give special mention to Kathy Russell. She gets a special mention because her one just cracked me up. I'm exhausted. Seems I've been waiting for this restaurant to open for hours. Loved that. That just cracked me up. But unfortunately, I wasn't the judge. Everybody else was. And then the second place went to Kathy Baxter, who just put Zeffie is zonked. And then the first place winner was Margaret Scott, who is a friend of mine back in New Zealand. And she put, doggone it, Mama, make sure I run around till I hit the ground. And that one actually got the most votes. So that is the winner. So congratulations, Margaret. I will be contacting you via Facebook Messenger to see if you want the phone holder, which is really cool. It holds iPads, Kindles, really cool thing, folds down flat, fits in the palm of your hand, hangs over the back of tray tables on airplanes when you're allowed to fly, and holds things pretty well. And it's got these little rubber grippy thingies on there and rubber grippy thingy on the bottom. So you get the choice of that or a personalized journal. And I can't show you the personalized journal because mine's being shipped. I made it yesterday and it's been shipped today for me, my personal one. So you'll have and you can put photographs on it, your favorite quote, whatever, on the front cover of your own personalized journal. So congratulations to Margaret Scott back in New Zealand. And we'll be contacting her about that. And congratulations for your winning caption, which was, doggone it, Mama, make sure I run around till I hit the ground. And before I depart for the day and take this little beauty, hey, Zeph. She's just like, I just want to go to the park. She's seen all these dogs going out for walks. So before I sign off for the evening, back in New Zealand and Australia and all that, it is already Mother's Day. So if you are in a mother role, whether you are actually a mum, a grandmum, an aunt, a sister, a cousin, whatever, and you are in the role of and you have a role of a mother, happy Mother's Day. Thank you for all that you do. And I just want to say a special shout out to my mum to say I love you, I miss you, and I am so blessed to have you as my mum. You are my best friend. You're always there for me, and you religiously text me every single day to make sure I'm okay, and get concerned if I don't text you back. So thank you for your love and your care and for all the guidance you've given me over the years. And when Brad passed, thank you and Dad for both coming over and helping me through those first 4 weeks. That was huge. So to all of the mothers out there, all those females in mothering roles, happy Mother's Day. Even if you are a pet owner, if you're a pet parent, you count too. Doggone it, you got to be a mother to these animals as well. Oh, she just gave me her treasure. This is her chewed up Himalayan cheese stick. She gives it to me to look after for her, and I have to hide it, like tuck it under my leg or something. And then when she realizes it's safe, she then goes off and plays. So to all of those that have a mothering role of some sort in somebody's life where you have an influence on them, you inspire them, and you have that ability to help shape young people and all of that, thank you for all that you do. And much love to all the mums out there. So have a blessed Mother's Day back home in New Zealand and Australia, and as it floats around the world, and we'll talk to the US ones tomorrow. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. I'm off to walk a dog. He konera.